Gave a hand out for the stress, talking grams loud. Cut him off, get the head out. Bro talk, what's that about? Big fly, check the air miles. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? You know who it is. It's After Hours Live from the Man Cave. This is your host, Tay Wiggs.
And you got your co-host, Marcine.
Hey, man, first and foremost, hey, we've been off for a while, due to everything that's going on with the protesting and black people being murdered, or I call it modern day lynching. I had to put everything on pause just to come and talk to my kids about what's going on in the world. Right now, this right here is bigger than sports. We know sports is the gateway to make people feel comfortable. Sports brings all color and nationalities together, good or bad, just for a night, for 2 or 3 hours. So with that being said, we're going to kick things off right now. I'm going to let Marcus go ahead, man. Lead the way, man. Start your topics off, man. Let the people know what we're working with today.
So we're just going to get right into this, to the NFL. They're basically saying, unlike other sports, they're not going to play in a bubble, meaning they ain't going to, just uphold themselves in a one location. And so basically, that ban got to be lifted for the NFL to return in the fall, because they ain't going to just stay in Orlando like the NBA said they're going to do. They're just going to stay in one location and, kind of keep all the players in. The NFL said it's happening. So I don't believe they'll stick to that because the NFL, that's where the big money is. I think if it comes down to they'll put themselves in a bubble real quick.
Right. Now, the one thing you say about the NFL, about them being in the bubble, we talking about an organization that carries between a 53 and a 55-man roster. Where would these games be played at? Where's the location sites? They haven't said anything about that. Would be a good site.
I'm guessing that if they had to pick a place, they would probably go to Vegas, to the new, was it the Raiders?
The Raider Stadium, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if it's finished, but I think that'll be their pick, because it can hold everybody. It's entertainment, guys won't be bored. And it's just, it can fit, I don't know how many players, because like you said, it's a 50-man roster in the NFL, so 30 teams, that's a lot of players.
Right.
Unlike, basketball or baseball even, where, it's only a certain, like 15 guys on a team.
Right. And two, we talk about a 55-man roster. This is not including coaches. Like when you talk about almost about 10 to 15 coaches on certain staffs, you talk about ball equipment guys. That's a lot. So you talk about 55. You talk about 55 men times almost 30 teams. Man, that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people, to be in all honesty. That's almost about between 2,200 or 1,300 people traveling. Not only if they play in Vegas, like you said, they'd be accommodating. They can go to the slot machines, where they can play at, like you said, the new Raider Stadium. Or B, they can play somewhere probably at BYU up there in the college stadium. Or they can play at UNLV College. Or Denver, they go back and forth to Denver too. You accommodate so many teams within that area. Or put it in a city where teams often don't see pro football. Like, it may sound weird, but, it's just wishful thinking. I was thinking at places like a North Dakota or South Dakota.
Right.
Being the population there is not a lot of people. They can still roam around free. I mean, they say they don't want to play in a bubble, but you have to do something else to keep these players from getting sick in their whole entire staff. So what was you saying where, if, say, like the NBA, they said somebody leave the bubble, they can't come back. It's almost like Big Brother, the TV show. You vote your own self out.
Right.
So you look at the NFL.
That's it.
Right. So you look at the NFL players too, Marcus. You're looking at people like Cam Newton, who still doesn't have a job. You're looking at Odell Beckham and Cam Newton. They playing basketball with Quavo, and these guys supposed to be in the already quarantine. So you're looking at some of these guys already breaking rules already, because we know around this time most of these athletes, women too, some of these athletes are in training camp, OTAs, 2-a-days, whatever. So you're looking at a lot of stuff that's being stopped from tennis, golf is still playing, and race car driving.
Right.
So when you're looking at the NFL and what they're going to do with players like talking about now we talk about the social injustice part of the NFL going to Kaepernick. He should have been had a job. This happened back in 2015. Should have been playing.
Right.
But it's ironic that the Los Angeles Chargers, formerly known as San Diego Chargers, their coach Anthony Lynn comes out and say, I'm gonna bring in Kaepernick for a workout. But this is the part I didn't like what the Chargers coach said that nobody's not saying on TV. He's I'm fine with the guys that we have here. So you got Tyrod Taylor is projected to be your day one starter, Justin Herbert as the backup, and the third guy, I don't even know his name. And Kaepernick is trying out. So now all of a sudden, since what's going on in the world that everybody is listening to what's going on for the outcry for Afro-Americans, saying that Kaepernick should have been out here from the get-go. So now he's looking bad now. I want to try him out. So you tell me you guys should have been trying him. I mean, in other words, the owners are looking bad now because they didn't give them a chance.
Right. And things is really coming to a head, just in the world period. So
right
now it's like, the whole reason why Kaepernick was taking the knees, with things that have been taking in place. So now they're trying to save face and saying, we're going to get him in, give him a shot at a job, whereas he should have been starting somewhere. I mean, I think it would be a big statement if somebody like Coach Belichick give Cap a shot, because they don't got Tom Brady anymore. They really America's team now, the Patriots.
Exactly.
So if he was to call Kaepernick, and make that statement that, he going to give Cap a shot, that'd be huge for the Patriots and, for Kaepernick, because I'm sure he wouldn't turn that down.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because Robert Kraft actually helped Meek Mill get out of jail. So, when they go see him in jail to help him fight for his justice, for him to be a free man. Like you said, that wouldn't be a bad pick, the New England Patriots, to go up there. But listen to the outcry of certain athletes that play in that region was saying, the Afro-Americans was actually saying that, hey, if you're not the same color as the Caucasian players or the Caucasians in that area, you come to that stadium, you're going to hear all type of N-words, you this, you that. So when I look at stuff like that, I'm looking like we all have to come together as one unit. It's going to take some time, a very long time. The way I look at it is where I was scrolling through Instagram literally like 3 days ago. It was a Caucasian father and his son. He showed his son 4 pictures. The kid had to be no more than, I would say, 6 or 7 years old. One picture had a white kid. The one picture had a white kid and a black boy in the picture. The other picture had a white kid hugging a black girl. Other pictures it had pretty much the pictures are black and white, and they all playing together. He asked his son, "What do you see? What's wrong with these pictures?" The first picture, he said, they sitting down laughing. All right. The other picture, he said, he's giving the other person a hug. The third picture is they in the pool swimming around, whatever. And the father said, he's told his son, come here. He gave his son a hug. He said, remember, at the end of the day, And I actually liked the picture with the video he had. He said, at the end of the day, racism, kids don't see racism. It is taught. When kids together at a younger age, they don't see color. They see people as, this is my friend and we are playing. So when you
Yep.
grow up and you be stigmatized in a situation like that, it is different. So
It's very
at the
different.
end of the day, it is what it is. But you have to train these kids to be right. You go to school. We went to the school, Marcus, with a melting pot. And the crazy thing is, we knew racism was out there, but the kids we went to
Right.
school with, they accepted us for who we are. Their parents knew who we were. They never had a problem with coming to the house. But I can't speak for the majority of the people out there. But I have faced racism before. I have. I can't sit up and say I haven't. But we all have to jump this hurdle together to become one.
Yep, we all have it at some point in time. And, like you said, where we grew up, in Cleveland Heights is very diverse. It's like a melting pot. So it's a lot of different cultures. So it wasn't, right. Racism wasn't right in our face. But, you step, you go to Beechwood, you step out into these other suburban cities right next door.
Right.
And you just get a lot of, by the authorities, you get treated a little different.
Exactly.
It's noticeable.
Right. And two, it's weird because in Cleveland Heights, most of the police department, most of them guys either went to the schools, they knew who you were at the end of the day. And, yeah, you get haggled, but they'd tell you, hey, don't do that next time, or you will, this will be the consequences. But at the end of the day, I'm getting back to where it has to start from the top. It has to start from the top of leadership to get these people on the same page, because you got people dying at alarming rates out here. I don't want to speak too much on this, but we're going to go right into the no, we can't go right into the NBA. I want to stick right here on this topic with not with this topic, but the next topic is about the coronavirus and the NFL players. Ezekiel Elliott got COVID-19. They put his name out there. They put his name out there. He said he was mad because they put his name out there. The reason why they put your name out there is, I'm not going to call you Zeke. Ezekiel. The reason why they put your name out there, because you threw this party, what's it, about a month or two ago, right before it took off. He threw
No social distancing was
no
practiced at this
him
point.
and Dak Prescott. They threw they had a COVID-19 party. That's the name of the party, I believe it was.
Right.
Tacos, drinks, and everything. So you're looking at two of the corner pieces, the two cornerstones of your franchise, Dak Prescott, who still won a big contract, who turned down a big contract almost a month ago. Then you got Ezekiel Elliott out here, got COVID-19. The Dallas Cowboys, and no Stephen A. Smith love it. And this is supposed to be America's favorite team. This
He's
team
gonna be the Rudy Gobert of the NFL.
Yeah, the Rudy Gobert. Ezekiel Elliott thought he was untouched by COVID-19. Yes, we know other players out there who had COVID-19 in the NFL. Couple of guys, Devon Miller, for once, who had it for the Denver Broncos. But I never heard anything about him recovering from it. I remember him saying he had it. It's been a month ago. I'm trying to figure out that he recovered.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully, Zeke does recover. Or it passes by. I don't know if he has any other underlying health issues, but you got to practice that social distancing, man. You got to practice it. You got to, too much at stake. Zeke been pushing the limits, for the past couple of seasons, just with his behavior in general. So
yeah, exactly.
This is like another thing added on top of it.
I mean, at Ohio State, he wasn't in trouble. I'm going to tell you the reason why he wasn't in trouble. his dad moved from St. Louis to Columbus, Ohio. So when your dad had to move to a different city and find work in another city, that was a red flag when I thought about it. I wasn't thinking like that at the time when he was in college. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Your dad moved with you because he know you playing for the Buckeyes and let you know that Zeke was a homeschool child for a while. So let you know Ezekiel Elliott is a promiscuous kid. I'm going to call him a kid. I'm older than Ezekiel Elliott, by the way. And he's still trying to find himself. Like you said, Mark, he's been in trouble for the last couple of years. I'm not going to bring it up, but the whole thing is about doing this quarantine thing, and you got to follow the rules. You got to follow the rules and the ramifications of this. And the players really think this is a game. Something is a game.
Right. A lot of people do. And the cases are rising. They're not going down. They're rising.
They're rising. And with the NFL, what you were saying earlier, what you were saying before we took the air was that they said the NFL might not have a season. So can you reiterate on that?
It's basically, Zeke is a prime example. They're not trying to be in a bubble, have everybody all confined to one space,
right?
To participate in this season. Because that's pretty much what it's going to take to safely, carry out an NFL season. They're saying it won't work for them. They would rather, do their normal routine travel. But my opinion is if it came down to it, they would, but they'd just pick a location where it would, serve all parties, like Vegas or somewhere where a lot of money was going to be made, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. They will. I'm telling you right now, the NFL is the hottest ticket in the fall time. The NFL is not about to lose the money. Like the NFL already seen how much baseball is losing, and baseball right now is a joke because they can't come over to an agreement. They see how much the NBA lost money. You talk about the NFL is the king of the sports right now at that time. And it's funny how they're the king of the sports because they play 16 games. Their seasons is the shortest. So once it's said and done, I think they play about 21, 22 games. That's including the Pro Bowl and the Super Bowl. So they make a lot. They get a lot of TV revenue. Just to like people like if they play in the empty stadium, people would like say they won't watch. Yes, you would watch because it's a sport. It keep your mind occupied. People live for them Sundays or Monday nights or Thursday night football games. They tailgating. So you talk about a whole other monster that we can't. They talk about people won't be going back to the stadiums to probably to next year until they find a vaccine. You talk about tailgating. You talk about the NFL losing money, just the stadium itself, concession stands. We're not even talking about the small businesses side, the bars, the people who make money like that. You talk about these restaurants or bars that may not come back because that's where they make most of their money at.
Right. A lot of them ain't covering. I know the federal government basically just said, they, buy out, debt in some cases, which is going to help some businesses out. But I mean, those businesses that heavily rely on sportsmen play baseball, football, basketball. If you're talking about a season and a half of not having any income, they're gonna go under.
Right.
And I think that's a reason why the NFL is taking a stance that they're not gonna be in a bubble, because they may be thinking about those small businesses that rely on their games, to get income.
Right. And I agree with that 100%. And just looking at how this has been going on and with the numbers, 1 week the numbers are up, 2 weeks the numbers are down, they're going back up. Numbers are going to go back up too because back onto that social injustice, all the protesting been going on, people were coming together, not by the hundreds, by the thousands, in groups. And you're talking about major cities, Los Angeles, New York, Cleveland, Charlotte, Texas, Florida. These are big pocket states. Even, like I said, New York, didn't I? You talk about those states. In New York, it's the epicenter of this pandemic. And they already talk about they want to go into phase 3. Like, they have to find some type of vaccine, or what they're going to do is they have to get this ball rolling, because people are losing their lives at an alarming rate. It's weird because the little girl down the street asked me, "Hey, Mr. Dante, how come Payne and Kennedy don't never come outside?" They do go outside. I pick and choose when they go outside, just because I know what's going on. I know who they playing with, and you just don't want your kids just out there playing with anybody, because if I see certain kids on the street that I know is on the street and I know where they stay at and I know where they been, it's a difference. Now, you talk about you going outside, it's 2-3 new faces. Nah. Hey, wrap it up. We can play in the backyard. We got a pool. We got the slip and slide. We can do all this stuff.
Everything we need
In my backyard. So she said that. I want to say so bad, like, she don't understand because she's like 5. I'm not going to tell nobody, hey, no, they can't go outside. It's just different reasons why they want to go outside at that time. They do go outside. They do handle their business. And kids need fresh airs too, because kids are being in the house playing video games. Video games are the all-time high now. Kids are becoming couch potatoes. You know, and I'm going to say this about my kids. Even though my kids are not outside, they still got to give me an hour or 2 of reading and do math problems to keep the brain sharp. Because they talk about we might be in remote learning again this coming school semester.
Yep, for another year. Yep.
So stay at home and be safe. And with the kids is different. The kids don't understand. But now, since we talk about social injustice, I want to talk about the race car driver, Bubba Wallace. You know, he's a mixed kid. He raced for the number 40. His number is number 43 stock car for NASCAR, and stuff like that. His argument was going into other states and cities, including my state where I live at now, Charlotte, North Carolina. You go to if you ever go to a race car driving event or a NASCAR event, you do see Confederate flags of the original 13 colonies. We notice a lot of people know that the Confederate flag is from the Civil War.
Right.
I know that flag. I know what it means to certain people. Certain people take it the wrong way. But to me, how I feel about it when I first moved down here, to be honest with you, I'm from the North. When I seen that flag, you know, you watch history stuff, you seen the Ku Klux Klansmen carry that flag. Every time I seen that flag, I'm like, yo, is he KKK? And I know a lot of people
like a symbol for racism to me.
Yeah, it is. And too, when I seen the flag, too, a lot, you don't see it as much that you go down like a little side street, some older person gathered like in their 70s or their 80s. Now, when I read about the flag, because I knew what it stand for when I first moved down here, I already knew I was going to see a bunch of Confederate flags. They waved the flag so high for a war that they lost.
Right. That's another thing that's tripped out about it.
That's the funny thing. I'm looking like, that flag is the North versus the South. The South still holds that flag in certain cities and states down here. It's like it's part of their culture. I know it's part of your culture. It's part of a losing culture too. Didn't win. Slaves got set free at that time, and it is what it is. I'm all for it. No Confederate flag shouldn't be at these events. Period. I like how Alvin Kamara, the New Orleans Saints, went to a race and supported Bubba Wallace. Hey, people who like race car drivers and all that stuff. I want to say it's a 13-year-old kid. He's in Cleveland, Ohio. He want to be a race car driver. His parents take him throughout the country in the United States, and he racing events. He has trophies. I can't think of his name right now, and that's what he want to do. I thought what Bubba Wallace did that could be groundbreaking to get other Afro Americans like myself and yourself into more of these events, because if you put more of us in there, you talk about some of these stadiums are huge, like 3 times football teams. Can you imagine if you already got 150,000 plus Caucasian people? Just imagine you throw another 100,000 in there. You talk about a sport that can really take off and thrive with some Afro Americans. And not only they not race car drivers, they work on pit crews. So Bubba Wallace and to your stock car team, man, thumbs up to you guys for getting that done. I think it's time for a change. Not only that people didn't know, some people did probably know, but for the people who don't know, who's tuning in with me and Marcus Jordan has money into a stock car and a race car driver named Denny Hamlin, who lives in Charlotte. He be at all the Hornets games. He raced for Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had a say-so in that too. So there's other areas that it could be groundbreaking. Maybe we can get more of us to drive race cars. We like race cars too as well. We could, for sure. Shit, Marcus, we played with Hot Wheels when we was kids. Those are race cars.
All growing up, right?
So that's another sport that we need to break ground in. All right, Marcus.
I'm sure that Bubba's car, his Black Lives Matter race car. I'm sure they're gonna be packaging that, in a Hot Wheels soon. So I'd like to see that too. I would definitely give my son one.
Exactly, I'm with that one. All right, we know we talk about basketball. We gotta say basketball for that because it's the hot and juicy one. We just talking about what's going on in sports. MLB, Major League Baseball. This is the only major sport that cannot come up with a dilemma or a plan to get their season start. All I keep hearing on TV, there will be baseball in the fall. The clock is ticking and the time is not wasted. In a couple more weeks, it will be July. We know around July, that is the half point of baseball. You talk about All-Star Weekend. Right now, I think we probably be close to about 60-something games in. So when your commissioner doesn't have a clue what's going on for these guys to take the field, they talk about they need to find somewhere to play. I'm looking like find somewhere to play. Any guy,
all those fields and spring training. It was in Florida and Arizona.
Yes.
Like, pick one.
Like, pick one. That's what I was saying, Marcus. He talking about he can't find nowhere to play. Second of all, he said the owners won't budge off the money. The owners said, if you want to play baseball, we give you half pay. Players come back and say, no, we want 100% pay.
Yeah, they want all their bread.
They want all their bread, which they're entitled to. I'm all for that. I'm for the players. The reason I'm saying this, I'm looking at some of these owners are like making 50. Some of these owners are worth like $51.4 billion, $9.2 billion. It's not going to hurt you to get these players all their money. The people who suffer the most are people who play double A, single A, and triple A baseball.
Right.
So
people they ain't talking about.
Right. You talk about guys that probably go back home, stay with their parents, just so they can have somewhere to stay. But David Price said for the farm league team that he played for coming through the rankings, he's gonna get them guys $1,000 every Friday until something happens. So you got David Price going to his own pockets, helping out the guys that play single and double and triple A baseball to get this thing going. The commissioner of baseball Manfred need to find a clue because right now he's looking like one of the worst commissioners of all time right now because he got the cheating scandal on his hand. Now you're going to have the COVID-19 thing going on because you cannot come up with a date for these athletes to take the field. So, and you talk about, and this is going to mess up everything for next year for all sports. You talk about the cap, money.
Right.
So you're not going to see big contracts probably for a while. For I'll say at least about 2-3 years before you see a big contract.
All right. I mean, I think you'll see if the NBA does go through, with their thing, depending on how the ratings turn out. If the ratings are good for that, that's where all the money is going to be. Trying to get these more of the baseball games on TV. Football they already on TV heavy. It's just going to be trying to get as many TV deals as possible to foot the bill, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be real tough. Everybody got this stuff. Even hockey came up. Look at soccer. Soccer been playing soccer now for I would say about 3 or 4 weeks now, almost a month. If any player in the team get COVID-19, they get isolated and they take everybody else's temperature. And if you don't have it, they good to go and play. So soccer then came up with something. They playing baseball over in Japan and Tokyo. Their games come on TV. They got stuffed animals in the stands. I'm watching it because it's funny to see stuffed animals at a baseball game doing the same motion. So if they can come up with a solution, why MLB can't come up with a solution? It's all about the money. The money. It's all about that mighty green dollar. So enough of that. We like this. This is our bread and butter right here. The NBA. So according to the NBA, they got the living headquarters. They got teams split up. Me and Marcus been calling this the grown men's AAU basketball. So they playing 8 games, or where we want to call it. I call it a refresher, a rebuffer. Before I get into it, me and Marcus and a couple of guys, we bought NBA League Pass. And the way they try to pacify us is to keep the NBA League Pass free until the season resumes next year. NBA, just that I've been watching you guys all the time. Day one, I need half of that money back.
Right.
Give me something.
Some of that back.
I need some of that back. If we say, hey, we give you a ticket to any game you want in the future, it better be courtside.
Right.
Well, all honesty, for everybody who lost money out there in the NBA League Pass, I was looking like, yo, there's no basketball. So when I look at the living headquarters, now Marcus was talking about living in the bubble. Explain to people, Marcus, what the NBA want to play, why they want the players to live in the bubble. What are some of the consequences and ramifications if they don't follow suit with that?
I mean, it's pretty much you leave, you go home. Like, don't come back. You leave out of the designated area, that they set for the players to follow. From my understanding, it's pretty much that whole Orlando, Disney World, like that whole scene. It's real family oriented. So if you have family, your kids, you can bring them. Like, you can't go outside of the areas they designate, or you won't be playing basketball.
Now,
and they're trying to do that, to keep the virus contained, like so it's from spreading amongst other people.
Right. Now, since you said the kids, so they changed that. So only players can report. Players and coaching staff. No agents. I know Rich Paul at the house looking like, what do you mean? Rich Paul is at every game.
He's at every game.
So no agents, just players, coaches, and it probably, I don't like to call them ball boys because some of these teams have women too. Equipment managers. That's what they like to be called. The equipment managers are the ones that are allowed to come. And you're looking at the NBA living headquarters that is set up in Orlando. as follows. We got the Milwaukee Bucks, the Toronto Raptors, the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat, Los Angeles Lakers, and the Clippers, the Denver Nuggets, and the Utah Jazz will be staying at the Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs. So you're looking at all of those teams under that roof, staying at that location, as followed by you got the Pacers, 76ers, the Brooklyn Nets, the Magic, the OKC, the Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Grizzlies are staying at the Glen Floridian there. Then you got the Portland Trailblazers, the Pelicans, the Kings, the Spurs, and Phoenix Suns and Wizards staying at the Yacht Club. So you got these teams living in the bubble. I think tomorrow, most of the teams fly into Orlando to get tested for COVID-19. Once they're in that bubble, they have to stay quarantined for another 2 weeks. Then they get into practice mode, and they do the same thing all over again each day until the season is over. Now, Adam Silver called a couple of guys on the phone, a couple of faces in the league, and asked them, do they agree upon this? And they said, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. I'm looking at a tweet that Patrick Beverly said, if King James said we balling, as the guy behind me, we balling. Kyrie Irving took and said, we shouldn't play basketball this year. We should just call it a wash, and let's focus on social injustice. Do I agree with Kyrie Irving to a certain extent? Don't get me wrong. Yes, I agree with you. Most people will say, you're a fan, you want to watch basketball. At the end of the day, everybody's a fan. Even the guys that put on uniforms and lace their shoes up and go take the hardwood floor, they're fans.
Right.
Most people deal with different things differently. Mental illness is high. Some cats have to be on the court to get out that type of bubble. It's easy for someone like, I'm not going to bash Kyrie Irving because every man is entitled to their own opinion.
His own, right.
But when you got an athlete like a Kyrie Irving who's almost making $40-something million or close to $100-something million, it's easy for you to say, let's stay home because you can live comfortable. What about that guy on that 10-day contract? What about that guy who's only making the league's minimum, who still got to pay other stuff, other utilities going around? That's the picture I'm talking about. So when Kyrie Irving said, hey guys, let's start our own league, I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong. I wish the NBA could start their own league because we already know with no players, there's no NBA.
The NBA is one of the sports leagues that does focus on players. That's why I think they're so successful, because they put emphasis on a player, not necessarily the teams.
Exactly.
Like especially now in this time, people follow players more than they follow the team. Like I was talking to a kid at my job one day, and he was like, I follow LeBron wherever he go. I know he from Cleveland. He's from Akron, and then, he played for the Cavs. He's like, but, once LeBron left, he became a Lakers fan. So
right.
The kids today really follow the players more than anything.
Right. And two, it's so funny because Kendrick Perkins called Kyrie Irving, like, not called him, but called him out and said, how you going to contradict yourself because you was all for the NBA starting back up to get these guys playing. Kendrick Perkins said, don't make me expose you. I said, oh, okay. This COVID-19 got people talking sideways and we seeing the real people. I mean, because you put a jersey on or you in the same, as they say, the same fraternity doesn't mean I have to like you, period.
Right.
We go to work with people we work with people we don't like. I just tolerate you because you're there. I'm going to respect you, period. It's all about respect at the end of the day. But when Big Perk said, the reason why Kyrie don't want to play basketball because your team, the Brooklyn Nets, told you We're not going to invite you to play because you're still injured. We don't want you to jeopardize your career. So all of a sudden, Kyrie said we shouldn't play.
Right. That was going to be my next thing. My next was that if it's truly about focusing on social injustice, that's one thing. But it seems, he's picking his side because one, he was told he can't play.
Right.
Two, his team really this year, before all this started, before the COVID started, before the marching, the protesting started, their team was never deemed to have a chance of winning it all. It was always next year.
Right.
But now he's trying to put it off to next year, when KD come back and he's healthy and then, their team is in full to come back and play. And then, the very next day, he's saying he's going to be in the stand supporting his team. So it almost like, well, what's the truth? Does he not want to play at all? Like does he want the players to stay home and focus on the social injustice? Or, is things getting misreported? Is my thing. Like, it's the wrong information getting put out to us.
And the crazy part is, Kyrie Irving said he's willing to hang it up and retire. I mean, Kyrie played for our Cavaliers. He wins a championship. I still think people today don't give Kyrie the credit that he deserved for making that shot, for winning the championship, the first ever championship in Cleveland in 52 years. Rest in peace to my guy, Fred McLeod. I met him at one of the Cavaliers events. All I can remember him saying on TV, it's over. The 52-year drought is over. Take that. Take that. And every time I say that, by me saying that, I still get chills right to this day. I can hear Fred McLeod saying, how you like that now? Go to state. Take that. We won a championship. I always say this. We always say, I always give Kyrie Irving his roses of taking that shot of the game winner. Yes, it's going to get not looked upon because LeBron had the block, but the block led to the shot. And LeBron had to say it too as well. One of my favorite players, LeBron had to say it. He says it a lot, but he has to say it more often. Yo, we wouldn't have won that championship without Kai's shot.
Kyrie.
Point
Right.
blank, period. I don't want to say no more about it. Yes, Kyrie knocked his shot down on Steph Curry to seal the game. And so did Kevin Love, who actually played a good game towards the end too, who stopped Steph Curry from hitting one of them circus threes. Tristan Thompson, I can go on and on about that team, how those players stepped up and made their role being filled that night. Tristan Thompson played, I think he had like 9 points, 15 rebounds to go along with 2 blocks. Yes, I still remember the stats because it's your first championship. But for Kyrie to come out and say we should cancel the league, hey, you talk to your own opinion. I'm not going to knock you down like Kendrick Perkins did. Or I don't know the riffraff between you guys. I'm just going by what I heard on TV. Then for KD to come out and call Kendrick Perkins a sellout, I was at home sitting back drinking some coffee. I said, oh, things about to get real interesting today.
All right, them two at it again. It's like the second time they've had a back and forth.
Yo, Kevin Durant called Kendrick Perkins a sellout because he's on TV now. I mean,
he's just doing a job.
He's just doing a job. When I heard that, I turned the TV. It's on every TV. And I seen it on the internet first. I followed it on Twitter. I said, yo, KD said this. Next thing I look, it's on TV. Colin Hurd said, it's getting real interesting, folks. Kevin Durant called Kendrick Perkins a sellout. Came back from commercial break. Colin Hurd said, what made Kendrick Perkins a sellout? He didn't join the Golden State Warriors. And I started laughing because he said the first thing he said, Kevin Durant, you and Russell Westbrook had the Warriors on the ropes 3-1.
Right.
They came back and defeat you guys in three straight. So how was the sellout when you left Russell Westbrook out to dry? And this is my part. I'm gonna have to disagree with Kevin Durant for calling somebody a sellout. This is the sellout part right here that people don't talk about Kevin Durant. The night before Kevin Durant made that decision, do you know what Kevin Durant? Let's call it who it is. Kevin Wayne Durant. Do you know what he did to his teammates, Marcus, the night before he made a decision?
I haven't heard this. This is gonna be news for me. I'm interested.
He took these guys out to dinner.
Don't tell me he told me he was staying.
He took them out to dinner and said, it's been a good season. I'll see you guys next year. They have a
You're gonna see him next year, all right.
Every year. Right. They sat there and had dinner, had laughs. Westbrook, Steven Adams, the whole nine, took the team out to dinner. And he told them, guys, when the dinner was over, I'll see you guys next year. Not knowing, like you said, Marcus, next year would be in a totally different jersey, different city, different arena, and different fans. Now, who's the sellout now?
Yeah, that's from a basketball perspective. That's real sellout-ish. Is good look.
The way I look at that,
he joined the team that they were about to beat to go to the finals. He joined that team.
Right. And what's so crazy? That's why I call him the Durantula. Some people call him the Slim Reaper, and that's more fitting now. The Slim Reaper, because the Grand Reaper take lives. He took these guys out to dinner. I don't know if people out there watch mafia movies. You take somebody out to dinner, a spaghetti dinner, that's your last dinner. You get whacked upside the head with a baseball bat.
Right.
So pretty much, Kevin Durant took them to one of the steakhouses in Oklahoma. Probably his steakhouse that he had there, I think. Took him out to his steakhouse probably, had dinner, and told these guys, I'll see you next year. That was the ultimate kiss of death, a.k.a. the whack. And told you to see these guys next year. Why could you be man enough and tell these guys that you was leaving? LeBron did the same thing too.
They both guilty of it. I don't know if LeBron took the team out for the dinner, but
LeBron James took his talents to Connecticut.
So I think he just went AWOL, right? It's just. I think the whole situation with Perk and KD and Kyrie, because Perk played with both of them,
right?
And I think he knows them, better than we do, and he must feel like there's not some truth into Kyrie's stance. That's my take on it. Like he doesn't feel as legitimate as Kyrie's saying it is, and with this whole. I think it's an opportunity if they come back and play to do some social justice work. They'll have the platform. They'll be the only sport playing. They can get whatever message across they want. They can even, force some change if they went about it the right way. So it's just, I kind of can see both sides, but to call somebody a sellout, just for having an opinion.
That's deep.
That's not right. That's not
right. We talk about the basketball, the social justice. Hey, man, shout out to Steven Jackson, who's been the forefront leader of this whole movement for social injustice. This has been going on for so long. And this goes back to where Jesse Owens, who ran track in Berlin, he ran track and field. I believe he's the first Olympic gold medalist to win all 4 events. And
Was
the
that the
sad,
Olympics where they had that the iconic picture where they all standing with their fist up? Is that the same Olympics, or am I
nah,
thinking
that's
was
way
that
after
later?
that was that Olympics. I think that was in California. That
Okay.
Olympics with Jesse Owens, I want to say 19. Don't get me wrong, Mark. I don't say nothing stupid. I want to say 1936, if I'm not mistaken. The Jesse Owens, when he won the event, he tried to shake
Well
Hitler.
before.
Huh?
So that was well before then.
Yeah, I think he tried to shake Hitler's hand, and Hitler wouldn't shake his hand. And that let you knew that at that time that the black man or the black athlete would never be respected for what he has done. He's only respected what he can do for you at that present time. So when I said yeah, I was right. Jesse Owens,
Yep.
the Berlin Olympics,
1930. You got it right.
1936. Won in all four events. You know the crazy thing is, once that was over, he came back home. He didn't get the heroes welcoming. Came back home, had a 9 to 5 job. He worked in Cleveland, Ohio. He went to East Tech High School.
Yep.
So when I look at stuff like that and about how the athlete goes about their business, they don't care. Once you win that, oh, you just think in the past. You can win a championship. You could bring a city 6 championships like Michael Jordan. That owner and that GM didn't respect Michael Jordan for what he has done for them at the time. They really respect the part of winning and they want to rebuild. When you have a team, the whole thing is that's win and win till we can't win no more. Because I believe those Chicago Bulls at that prime, they was only like 33, 34. They could have went on probably won another 3 more titles.
Right.
Because the league was only younger. They was beating all the younger guys in the first place. So I'm looking at guys like a Jesse Owens who ran track in 1936, tried to shake Hitler's hand, and Hitler turned away. He didn't respect him because Jesse Owens came into his backyard and won some medals. Then not only he didn't come home to a hero's welcome, he came home to a 9 to 5 job. You know what they had to do? Man only have a statue in Cleveland. They named the street after him.
He needed a statue.
So I'm looking at stuff like that. Like looking at players who played for the Indians, like Larry Doby. They named a street after him up in Wood Hill Park. Like, we got to teach these young kids about the athletes before them. It's a difference between playing the sport, do your history on the sport, know who this player is, how they became this athlete. I study these athletes to know who they are, where they came from, where they origin. Like Jesse Owens, I believe he was born in Alabama before he made his way up to Cleveland and decided to take track and field sports. I'm looking at these things. We have to let these children know, our kids, let them know you don't have to be an athlete. We need more judges. We need more doctors. We need people in that type of field. We need more CEOs. We need more owners. We need some of our faces in some of these positions to let the world know we here just like you here. Keep telling my daughter, I said, you can fill an application. You're the same person, get the same qualifications. They're not going to choose you because of the color of your skin. And that's the type of world we live in. People have to get past that. I can do the job just as well as he can do the job. I can do the job as well as she can do the job. At the end of the day, who they come to for ideas? Us.
For sure.
Anything you got to say about the NBA, Marcus, before we go? Because I got two little article facts to let people know.
I just that like I said, like it could really be used as a good platform, to share the message more, about the cops, killing black men, and it'll be a good relief, for everything that that's been going on. It'll be good to take a break, and watch basketball. I mean, I don't think it won't make or break anyone's life, if they don't play.
Exactly.
So it'll just be a good outlet.
All right. All right. I got two facts. So did you know in 1977 the NBA had a draft. The New Orleans Jazz at the time, which are known as the Utah Jazz, they drafted a player named Lusa Harris, which is a female.
Oh, really?
Yes, she was the first lady to get drafted in the NBA. Only reason why she didn't play because she was pregnant.
Wow. Oh, that's a gym.
That's the gym. So it's like I said, I said before, I study these athletes because it's certain things that the TV is not saying about these athletes. I got another one for you. Throw this one for you. So did you know Jack Johnson, the first heavyweight champion, the black guy, right?
Hmm?
You know he created the thing called the wrench,
Oh, really? Like the tool?
the tool. So what's the nickname of the wrench?
I don't know. Call it a wrench.
They called it the monkey wrench because he was black because he made it. A
Oh,
white person back in the day, then I gotta use this monkey wrench, basically saying calling the black guy a monkey. So that's why everybody always calls it the monkey wrench. Because Jack Johnson, who was a boxer, created a wrench. And back in those days, the white person called it the monkey wrench. So this is just food for thought. Every now and then I'm gonna get on here. I'm gonna drop some jewels and gems. I'm trying to let my younger people know that your sports athletes did other things besides playing sports. So you're looking at an era where Jack Johnson was heavyweight champion of the world. We talk about guys back then not fighting 12 rounds. These guys are fighting 20 rounds.
20 rounds, right?
20
They
rounds.
fighting to the end.
Literally killing people in the ring. So that's just a food for thought. Once the season gets started back up, you will see more of me and Marcus' face. Like I said before, I'm your host. This is After Hours Live from the Man Cave. I'm Tay Wiggs.
This is Mark Senior.
And you know how we do. We out of here. Peace.